Conversation. Back in Lagos, it's time now for stories that are trending now, and Olamide Odekunle is standing by. Good morning again, Olamide.
Good morning, guys. I'm back again. I take it I'm not a single-use plastic.
Okay.
I've got some good stories for you guys. I'll jump right into it. Good morning, Nigeria. As always, TVC has a finger on the pulse and our eye on the streets, and we do our best on a daily basis to bring you trending stories that are shaping the world that we live in. We begin today's story at an FCMB bank, where a suspected hacker has been caught after allegedly hiding overnight inside a branch of First City Monument Bank in a bizarre attempt to breach the bank's internal systems. Now, reports circulating online say that this man posed as a customer and entered the bank during regular working hours. He's said to have then hidden in the restroom until closing time before crawling into the ceiling space where he remained overnight. Bank staff returned the following morning to find the branch's main access door locked from the inside, and suspecting foul play, they forced the door open only to discover this man concealed in the ceiling. While details of where exactly it happened remain sketchy, sources say that when the bank's systems were powered on, a suspicious message appeared on the screen that indicated that there was an attempt to breach their system, a hacking attempt, if you will. The suspect has reportedly been handed over to the police, and the bank has yet to issue an official statement. But something that a lot of people raised about this issue was the fact that the police were brutalizing him. And it brings to question the age-old debate. When we catch a criminal, should we beat them like this? You can't call this mob justice because this is the police. They are a security outfit, but still, does it make it right? Should he have just been taken quietly for questioning? We'll discuss that with my team in a moment. But moving on in another story. As agencies like the NDLEA and NAPTIP ramp up their efforts to curb drug abuse and protect vulnerable children across Nigeria, a disturbing video has emerged, reminding us that safeguarding our children truly begins at home. In the viral clip, a baby that's barely old enough to walk is seen being force-fed sachets of alcoholic drink by laughing adults who are presumed to be her caregivers. Now, of course, this unsettling footage has sparked widespread outrage online, and many Nigerians are calling for swift action and accountability. Now, the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has since condemned the act in strong terms, describing it as dangerous and abusive. In a post that they shared via their official social media platforms, the agency has urged members of the public to come forward with credible information that could help identify and locate all those that were involved. And I think that this is a grim wake-up call. While government agencies may have their roles to play, the first line of defense for a child's well-being remains the home front. This is very, very interesting. What a lot of people online were saying that this was not real alcohol, it was just placed in an alcohol sachet. Whether or not it was real alcohol, mimicking the act of feeding a child alcohol sends a very dangerous message. It normalizes and trivializes the use of alcohol in minors or substances in minors. It's absolutely unacceptable. I urge you to take a look at that video, and if you have any credible information, reach out to NAPTIP. That's what social media is for. But moving on in better news, Emmanuel Mayam, a 25-year-old adventurer popularly known as Emmy Wooks, has once again captured national attention, this time for launching a daring bicycle trip from Nigeria to the United States of America. Now, this young cyclist from Benue State is no stranger to endurance feats. In 2022, he rode from Makurdi to Lagos in an attempt to meet music superstar Davido. Now he's pedaling towards a much loftier goal. But beyond this headline, he says that his mission carries deeper meaning. Writing on his social media pages, he explained that the journey is a campaign to raise awareness and support for vulnerable children and internally displaced persons in Nigeria, particularly in Benue, a state that is, of course, grappling with a lot of terrorism and communal violence. He flagged off his trip on Monday from the main gate of the Lagos State University of Education, with his supporters cheering him on. Now, technically, it would be impossible to bike from Nigeria to America without any sort of, without crossing the Atlantic Ocean. You'd need some sort of flights or ships to actually bicycle all the way. So that is impossible. But I think that the real value here in this young man's journey will be advocacy, the people that he's riding for, and the campaign and the awareness that he's going to elaborate on while doing this. Team, this is very, very interesting. And what we're seeing in FCMB Bank is that a young man entered the bank as a customer, camped there overnight, and attempted to hack their systems while everyone was asleep.
It's quite curious to me that nobody else entered the bank or entered into the restroom where he was hiding and found him there, because I know that closing hours for banks or allowing customers coming is between 3, 4, 5, depending on the bank. And so are they saying that the staffers did not enter the restroom to find this person? I think that banks need to do more in terms of security and ensuring that because customers trust them with their monies and also their information. So they need to do a lot more with this incident now to secure the monies and the information of their customers as much as possible. A lot of work needs to be done. And I think that when I saw that video, it was the people, the staffers that were beating up the guy and not the police. I didn't see the police beat him. Maybe I didn't watch the video to the end, but what I watched, I saw that it was the staffers that were beating him up. And then to the next story, which is the story that even caught my attention, the baby that was allegedly being fed alcohol. It's sad. I know that a lot of parents are giving their children to caregivers to take care of, but you have to be careful what goes on. I know your eyes can't be everywhere, but you need to be sure the kinds of persons you bring to your home to take care of your children, because these days you cannot really tell who people are. And then the caregiver who did that, where is your heart? You will have children someday. So what is this? Would you like someone to do this to your child? I'll leave you with that question. And then for Salis, Olabi Salis, who is taking on that biking trip.
Emmy Wokes.
Emmy Wokes. All right. Emmy Wokes, rather, who is taking on that biking trip. I wish him all the best, and I hope that he can visit some persons in IDPs as he travels.
Absolutely.
Amazing. So I'll start with the banking story. Olamide, I was like, what in the money heist is going on there?
What in the money heist?
And I'll tell you the funny thing is that he doesn't even look that smart to do what he was trying to do. If it's that person, trust me, I don't think what he was trying to do, he could have done it. But also talking about securities in banks, this is very important, because if this had gone through and people's monies had gone missing, the story would have been totally different. I'm really glad that he was apprehended, and it serves as a message to people that would try to do this. There are other ways for you to make money. Work hard. There's so many things to do rather than something like this. Now you've brought shame not just to yourself but to your family. Now moving on to the caregiver, it's a really sad one. Sometimes I don't really blame mothers for giving their children to caregivers, because people have to work. As a mother, you have to work. You have to put food on the table. I don't know the family she comes from, but the right caregivers have to be chosen. And even when you're choosing caregivers, you can even choose the good one and something will happen. At the end of the day, you just have to put it in the hands of God. But that was a really bad one on her, and I pray that she's also apprehended and put to book. And also talking about Emmanuel, good one. He's not just making Benue proud, he's making Nigeria proud. I hope he'll be able to do it. Like you said, I don't think it's possible, but fingers crossed.
Well, I think nothing is impossible, because there was a lady who drove from London to Lagos, and then she did it. She crossed the Atlantic Ocean, she entered the shape and all of that, and then she was rewarded for it. So if this person is saying, this Nigerian is saying that he's going to do it, but one thing that I found quite curious is the fact that he's moving from Lagos to London. Is it London?
No,
to the United States. Yeah. I don't know who is going to welcome him there, but we have a lot of Nigerians. But some Nigerians are not having it funny currently in the US. So let's hope that yes, you'll be welcomed into welcoming hands. For the Nigerian as well, who also breached the banking security. I don't know how to say it, because I know that hackers, they always make use of AI, this era of AI, and they make use of malware and phishing. But this is another level. This is analog. This is physical. So it puts to question the banking security. How did the guy get in? One. So now banks need to be asking who remains, who is in the toilet, who is in the ceiling before they leave. And it also questions the credibility of the bank security and then the customers, because this is another level of PR. They need to assure the customers that, yes, your monies are safe, and then who are the syndicates that this guy is working with. So they need to start to unravel a whole lot of things. Or maybe it could be a mental case. Whatever the situation is, they should do proper investigation. And the irresponsible caregivers, I do not know what to say, but I feel these people need to be brought to justice. They need to deal decisively, with them, because this is just an eyesore. I don't know.
Thank you so much, team. Well said. I'm going to move on now. In some better news, a Nigerian-born lawyer and politician, Owolabi Salis, has made history as the first Nigerian to travel to space. Now, Owolabi Salis was among 6 passengers aboard the NS-33 mission operated by Jeff Bezos' aerospace company, Blue Origin, which launched from West Texas. Now, the suborbital flight lasted just 10 minutes, but was enough to reach a peak altitude of 105.2 kilometers, crossing the Kármán line, which is internationally recognized as the boundary of space. Now, he was born in Ikorodu, Lagos, and he's a chartered accountant and attorney that's licensed to practice in both Nigeria and America. And his resume is as remarkable as his recent journey. He was also the first Black African to visit both the Arctic and Antarctic in the same season. And he's no stranger to public life in Nigeria. In 2019, he contested the Lagos state governorship election under the Alliance for Democracy and has remained active in politics and philanthropy. Now, I think it's amazing that we're seeing Nigerian in space. However, I must say that he paid thousands of dollars for this. It wasn't based on his intellect or his merits, not that he doesn't deserve it, but he paid hundreds of thousands of dollars for this. But he still put us on the map, so thank you, Mr. Owolabi Salis. Something that was very interesting is the fact that he wore a fila in space. It's the first fila to actually, Yoruba fila, to go to space. And so, sir, moving on. In entertainment news, veteran singer Two-Face Idibia has apologized following backlash over his recent interview where he claimed that men are not biologically wired to stay with one woman. In the video, Two-Face said that a man can love a woman and still cheat. And of course, there was lots of criticism for his opinion. People were saying that he was promoting harmful gender stereotypes. Well, he's now issued a public apology to his wife, his kids, his fans, and his supporters, saying that he never intended to hurt anyone. Of course, this has raised a lot of conversation about celebrity influence, the concept of masculinity, and what should be the norm in Nigerian relationships. Before I hand over to my very capable team, I'd like you guys to please chime in with the hashtag TrendingNowTVC on any social media platform of your choice. I promise that I am listening. Or if you think there's an interesting story that should trend, let me know. Who knows? I might take it. Team, I think that Two-Face should keep the same energy. You said what you said. You said men are not biologically wired to stay with one woman. Keep the same energy. Those are your opinions. Those are your viewpoints. Stand on it.
But if his house is hot, he cannot keep standing on it because...
Somebody said that Natasha pulled his ear, his new girlfriend. I said, why would you say that kind of thing outside?
But it goes to show that what happened to the first wife, as some would say, the adage, they say that the broom that they used to beat the first wife is still hanging somewhere and they can use it to beat the second one. So, well, she is here now, so let's see what would happen. But it is sad that... these are the people we call celebrities that have a huge influence on a lot of young Nigerians. And they carry on with these kinds of narratives that are unhealthy because there are men who stick with just one woman, their wives or their partners, whatever we want to call it. And that's it. We cannot keep, carrying on with this narrative just because we want to just have our way, whichever way we want to live life, whichever way. It's sad and unfortunate.
Two-Face, as the name implied, you cannot be two-faced. You will stay in one place. And Veronica, you said something like this one is Natasha that will be two-faced. That broom, Natasha used to be two-faced, not two-faced beating Natasha. But anyway, for somebody like me that I do not support polygamy, I've said a lot of times, as a man, if you want to get married and still be cheating, why not? Why don't you just not stay married? Why do you want to be committed to somebody and still be cheating? And I don't know if you remember, in Young African and Famous, he said this thing as well. Even with the other wife, Annie Idibia, it caused a lot of controversy. People were talking about it. Well, he said you can love a woman and still cheat. But Two-Face, I don't understand. How can you love your partner and still cheat? When you are with the other person, what are you thinking about? Do you even think if your partner finds out, how would she feel about it? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but Ibrahim, I don't think a man can love a woman and still cheat on that woman. Maybe it's just my thing.
Definition of love, because love is respect.
Exactly.
Honor. I don't know, but Ibrahim, go ahead.
Ibrahim, you're the man. So
let me douse the tension that is already building up on this table. By starting with the guy that traveled to space. There is this conspiracy theory now saying that people never went to the moon, it was just hoax and all of that, that how can you travel out of the earth, the firmament, and
Ibrahim, we asked you to talk about Two-Face.
No, I'm coming there. So the thing is, so I love the fact that, people are exploring and they're trying to see the creation of, the heavens and the earth, and that's one of the scientific breakthroughs that we experience in this time around. So for Two-Face, it is for those who take celebrities as their role models, and where they feel that whatever they say is what defines their own lives, whatever they do is what I also want to do. So the fact that he's saying that, it's a fact that men are not wired to stay with one, men are not wired. How did you put it? Help me.
Hardwired. So men are not hardwired, or they're not biologically wired.
Yeah, right?
Yes, it is scientific. Yeah, it is scientific, but that is not an excuse for cheaters. If you are a cheat, you are a cheat. That's the reality. So the thing is, when you're married to a woman, you need to just come to that understanding that, yes, I'm going to stick with you, I'm not going to stick with you, maybe I'm going to marry another person. That is legally getting another wife. But cheating for me, there is no basis for cheating. If you are cheating, you are cheating.
It's a big deal breaker.
No, it's nothing good, because one thing is, if you are cheating with someone who is cheating with someone else. And from there, you contract you contract diseases. You take it back to your wife that is not cheating, and it's not even good for your own spiritual development. It's not good for anything. I remember seeing Two-Face performing live in Ogun State, saying that I've repented, I'm not cheating again, I'm not going to do this again, and none of that. And come on, what are you saying? Are you justifying
old habits,
promiscuity?
Right.
Come on.
But I pray that this particular habit with Two-Face will really die, because it's been lingering for quite a number of
my concern is what kind of role model he is portraying for his sons, because he has sons and they are watching him, they are listening to all of these things that he's saying. It's sad that he just goes about making this statement without a recourse to the implication on the lives of his children. He has grown-up children. I wonder how the daughters will be feeling, and even the sons in school, when the school children, their colleagues show them, see what your dad is saying, and the kinds of words he was using. It's sad. I don't know if he has a management right now who should perhaps work on him and his branding, because this is not helping him at all. It seems like he's going down the drain even much more after Anima Colley.
And I think that a man that fails to be sexually disciplined is not a man that I want to be with.
Exactly.
That's just my personal opinion.
It's a key word, because you can't rationalize what is irrational. You can't.
All right. Ibrahim, I'll hold you on something you said, but that'll be after this show. Well, this is where we have to draw the curtains on the show for today. Let's let you know that the views and reactions of all our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Up next is Your View with the ladies, and afterwards this morning with Yori Folarin. Stay safe. Bye.